Post the sessions, we have a wonderful speaker, Mr. Nayan Sheth. He is an advocate from Ahmedabad, born on 11th November 1961 in Nayan. He completed his graduation from our very own HL College of Commerce. So it's one more star in the galaxy of HLites that we have. The professional career of Mr. Sheth started at Nayan, where he practiced in sales tax at the stage of assessment along with his father, Mr. Sheth, from the year 1982 to 1991. Currently, he practices exclusively on sales tax and VAT in Gujarat Value-Added Tax Tribunal. Mr. Sheth, while in practice as an advocate, has also authored many books on topics related to sales tax and VAT. Besides books, Mr. Nayan Sheth has written many articles for publications in sales tax journals.
Respected teachers of HL College of Commerce, particularly Pathak Sahib, who was my teacher when I was in HL College of Commerce. Students, ladies and gentlemen, today I am invited to give an overview of the Goods and Services Tax Act, which is implemented in our country from 1st July 2017. In our country, there were a number of indirect taxes which were implemented separately by different legislative provisions. In order to make one nation, one country, one tax, GST has been implemented in our country. And when we call GST, you should keep in mind that there are principally 3 GST Acts which have been enacted. First is the Central Goods and Service Tax Act, which is enacted by the Parliament of our country. This is an act which is enacted to subsume what was known as excise, service tax, additional customs duties, and taxes like that. So there is one act which is called the Central Goods and Services Tax Act 2017. Second is the State Goods and Services Tax Act 2017, which is enacted by each state legislative assembly of the country. These Act has the effect of subsuming VAT, entertainment tax, luxury tax, and some cesses and surcharges which were in force earlier. The important feature of these Act is that though the State Goods and Services Tax Act has been enacted by respective state legislatures, they are verbatimly same. And that is how we have one law for the entire country. And the third GST Act which has come into force is the Integrated Goods and Services Tax Act 2017, which is meant to take care of the interstate transactions where the transaction takes place between two states or the dealers of two states. So principally, these are the 3 acts which has subsumed most of the indirect tax act which were prevalent prior to 30th June 2017. A first question which may arise is, what is the distinction between GST and the other tax laws which were in force in our country? As you must be all aware, so far as the excise law is concerned, excise was attracted on the event of manufacture. Sales tax or VAT was attracted on the event of sale or purchase of goods. and service tax was attracted on the performance of services. So those were the different and distinct taxable event which was attracting tax under different tax laws. Now when GST is implemented, the charge is created on the event of supply. Whoever makes a supply is liable to pay tax under these Act if his turnover exceeds the threshold limit which is prescribed under law, which is an annual aggregate turnover of 20 lakhs of rupees. And therefore, when you talk about GST, what you should understand is what is meant by supply, because that is the event which attracts tax under the GST law. And when you look at what is supply, that definition you find in section 7 of this GST Act. And when I say 7, it is again a unique situation where even the sections are retained in the same chronological order, not only under the state legislation but also under the central goods and service tax.